In 2003, Bruce Montague allowed his gun license to expire. He was hoping to get arrested so he could challenge the firearm laws he believes to be unconstitutional in court. A decade later, the licensing system hasn't changed, but Montague's life will never be the same. The Supreme Court never heard his constitutional arguments. Montague was charged and convicted of illegal gun possession, and his gun collection, valued at $100,000, was seized. Last week, the Dryden area gunsmith learned that the Supreme Court has turned him down again. This time, his appeal to try and get his guns back. And we have reached Bruce Montague at his home today. Hello, Bruce.
Good afternoon, Jason.
So what does this latest court decision mean for your case?
Well, I guess it means my battle is over. I've lost. I need to regroup, I guess, and try to figure out where to go on with my life from now. But it's a hard blow. I mean, our life savings is now officially been taken away from us, and we've got no hope of getting it back.
Can you give me some context as to what you were trying to do here exactly, or what you believe is to be unconstitutional?
Well, I believe we have a constitutional right to own firearms in this country. It's clearly written in black and white, and I naively thought I could go into court and win this fight. I'll back up a little bit. Our gun laws, when they came about, we call them Bill C-68 back in 1994, what it did was it criminalized the simple possession of a firearm. And I question the validity of criminalizing something that we have a constitutional right to own. And that's what I wanted to challenge in court. So I protested civilly, I protested peacefully, went to court, fought, we lost. But now the punishment just seems to be way above and beyond the call of duty. I'm just flabbergasted at the amount of punishment. I was sentenced to 1.5 years in jail, another 1 year and 3 months of community service and basically house arrest. I've been banned possession of firearms for the rest of my life, so they've taken my career away. I'm a career gunsmith. And to boot, they've taken about $150,000 worth of my life savings that was tied up in inventory, and now refuse to give that back. Now, I don't necessarily expect to get it back personally, but I was hoping to at least recoup the cost of it and sell it.
Yeah.
That's a personal property issue. Now we've lost that. Now we're dealing with the forfeiture of our house. And frankly, I don't think we have a legal leg to stand on. I mean,
that's it, eh?
That's
After this
it.
appeal. What can you tell me about these guns? Like, what kind of guns did you have?
It's a mix of everything. Of course, the media likes to focus on these scary-looking ones. I've got a few of them that were military-type firearms. They're historical firearms. One was a Tommy gun. Another was a Sten gun that, a plumber's nightmare. I mean, they were put out for like $1.50 for the Allied forces to fight against Germany. But it was a full auto firearm. And there's quite a stigma about that. Most of my firearms aren't that at all. They're bolt actions, pump actions, like regular hunting type firearms. But of course, the media likes to focus on the ones that they deem to be somehow scarier than the others.
I assume you mean automatic rifles and those big scary guns you hear about people having in the States.
That's right. And believe it or not, we've got them in Canada too. All you need is a license. I was licensed to own them. Full auto firearms are legal in Canada, contrary to public belief. The government doesn't want people to know that, and most gun owners are afraid to come out of the closet about it because, I'll tell you, we're stigmatized so badly. The public perception seems to be that if you own a gun, you must be a murderer in waiting. And frankly, I'm just getting fed up with that stigmatization.
So what was the issue with, if you say that this stuff is all legal, what was the issue with you having these guns?
I didn't have my license.
Oh, I see.
I refused to renew, or I refused to get a license because the change into the licensing scheme, what it did was that it was more than just getting a piece of paper. I always did have a piece of paper for my guns, but it was a permit. And there's a subtle difference. When they came up with the licensing scheme, what they did was they criminalized the possession of having a firearm. Without doing anything to threaten anybody or harm anybody, you are now an instant criminal eligible for 5 years in prison. I thought, this is ludicrous for a paperwork crime. What they've done is they've gotten regulatory laws, like licensing your car. They've applied that to guns, but what they did was they put criminal sanctions on it. They don't throw you in jail for not having a licensed vehicle. They fine you.
In theory, I guess you could say the vehicle is not designed to specifically kill somebody, though, or kill something.
Yeah, you could argue that. The thing is that whether you, and this is kind of a red herring that people like to travel down this road on. The real problem is the mental position of the person wielding whatever weapon it is, whether it's an automobile, a bomb, a gun, a knife, or a fist, anything. That is the crime, somebody trying to kill someone. Does it matter whether you've done it with a gun or a car or a knife?
Why do you like collecting all these guns?
I don't really consider myself much of a collector. I run a gun business. 200 guns is not a lot of guns, and you walk into any gun store. I mean, mine's small by comparison. So I don't really collect a lot of guns. Some were family heirlooms, probably about a dozen or so. I'm just kind of going off the top of my head. Just family heirlooms that have been around in the family for 150 years. Those ones I collected, they were passed down, and it was my responsibility to keep them and pass them down to my kids.
Do you regret taking a stand at all, considering how this has all worked out?
That's a tough question to answer. In some regards, I regret it. I regret that the government has taken such a heavy-handed approach in the punishment. I never dreamt that I'd be punished to this degree. But you know what? It's something that needed to be done by somebody. And I guess I'm as good as anybody else to do this. I mean, change happens slowly and painfully sometimes. Our rights and freedoms don't come for free. They have to be worked for. And not every battle can be won. But in some regards, I think I am winning because there is some public awareness that is being raised. More and more people are starting to realize it. I'm seeing a bit of a trend that people are starting to realize that this gun issue, I don't know that we've got all the facts. The government tries to say that it's for preventing crime and accidents with guns, but if you read the legislation, which hardly anybody does, it's 1,300 pages long. It's just ludicrous.
It's a thick read, yeah.
And they don't attack criminals and the misuse of firearms. What they're doing is they're specifically attacking the honest, average, law-abiding citizen. What is happening is very clear when you start to read this legislation is they're disarming the good people of this country. They're not disarming the criminals. They're already breaking laws. They don't care if they've got an unregistered gun.
Bruce, how are you going to deal with the financial side of all this? As you say, there's a chance you're losing your house here. You've got your life savings is gone. Where do you go now?
I don't have to worry about it. I'm not leaving. I'm so fed up with our justice system, our courts. I'm not leaving. If they want this house, they're going to have to take it over my dead body. I've just friggin' had it with this system. Just had it. I am not leaving. If they want to be the crooks that they are, they're going to have to do it the good old-fashioned way and shoot me. I am not leaving this place. I worked hard for it. I did nothing wrong to deserve this. I am not leaving.
Well, Bruce, I thank you for being so candid with me this afternoon, and I'm sorry to hear about the troubles you're going through.
Well, I am too, but, sometimes you get to a point where you don't care anymore. I mean, what's that? There's a song, freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. I'm becoming very free right now. I mean, I've got nothing to lose. I am not going to be put out on the street with nothing. I'd rather die.
Bruce, that's it for my questions. Is there anything we missed that you feel that we should highlight or anything like that?
The CCF, the Canadian Constitution Foundation, I should put a word in for them. They've been very good. My lawyer that I previously had died of cancer, and I liked him. We were happy with him, but at that point, we were already broke. We were exhausted because this has been going on for 10 years now. The CCF called me and asked me if I'd be willing to have them represent me for free. Well, there's a deal I couldn't pass up. I didn't know how good they were, but they've been representing me for a year now, and I'm very pleased with them. We lost, I know, but they did an outstanding job, and they're quite passionate about their efforts to protect the rights and freedoms of Canadians. So I can't say enough good about that organization. Okay.
Bruce, thank you so much for talking to me today. Obviously, it's a really tough situation to be in. I really appreciate your time. I hope things don't work out as bad as they might.
Well, I hope they don't either, but, when things are so far out of my control, and they really are,